The only unionized workers in Manhattan's famous Chinatown fight to save their jobs and stop gentrification. Animation studio workers in Georgia unionize, and President Biden announces his support for the Amazon Union Drive. Where workers' stories are front and center, this is On the Picket Line. On Tuesday, the only unionized restaurant workers in Manhattan's Chinatown protested with community members to stop the eviction of Fong, the largest restaurant in the city's iconic neighborhood. The demonstrators rallied outside of East Bank, whose owners, Alex and Jonathan Shu, own the restaurant building and are well known as the most powerful landlords in Chinatown. Workers with the 318 Restaurant Workers Union took action when management at the popular dim sum restaurant announced that it would be closing the doors on its famous dining hall due to profit losses during the pandemic. They immediately condemned the eviction as another move in the ongoing gentrification of Chinatown and called out the wealthy Chu family for its role in displacing many longtime businesses and residents. Here's some sights and sounds from the rally.
Fong is just such an important institution in Chinatown, which is also my neighborhood. I really think in this scenario as well that the landlord actually has so much power and ability to change the fate of the neighborhood. So this is where we need to apply the most pressure.
In Chinatown and Lower East Side, I think so that the government, like Mayor de Blasio, working with the landlords to displace the people, small business. This is going to affect everybody.
The Chu families is setting a dangerous precedent in our community, starting another wave of evictions, displacement, destroying small businesses, and destroying Chinatown. We demand that both the business owner and the big landlord, the Chu families, be responsible for the economic losses of us workers. We also demand that the Chu family allow the original or a new business owner to continue to operate a restaurant to guarantee job opportunities. This is a home that we workers built. We want to work, we want to live, and we want to prevent Chinatown from being destroyed. Yeah!
Workers at Floyd County Productions, an animation studio in Georgia, requested formal recognition from management this week after a nearly 2-year-long union drive with the Communication Workers of America. The Floyd County Productions Guild is the first to be open to all workers at the studio, which has created popular cartoons, including Archer, and is the largest animation studio in Georgia. In recent years, the state has become a billion-dollar hub for film studios. While workers, including artists, animators, IT specialists, system engineers, and more, have made this young industry boom, they have faced the bust of job instability and the lack of benefits and protections. I spoke with Jen Garcia, a software engineer and member of the Floyd County Productions Guild. Thanks for joining us on Breakthrough, Jen. Can you describe how the Floyd County Production Guild came to be?
Sure. So our union, the Floyd County Productions Guild, had its start probably about 2 years ago. It started over like work chats. People usually on the politics chat saying, wouldn't this be better? Wouldn't that be better? And from there, it started building into, okay, well, if we're going to talk about what we have been finding, maybe we should have a meeting every once in a while. And so we also got in contact with CWA in order to, get appropriately trained about like, what is a union even? How do you have a one-on-one conversation? And yeah, it's been slowly building up, just, talking to people one-on-one and listening to what they have to say, and yeah, person by person.
What kinds of issues were workers dealing with that helped spark interest in forming a union?
While Floyd does have an employee handbook that lists a sexual harassment policy, there was it seemed like it didn't have much teeth. There were people that had, different treatment depending on who the abuser was versus the victim. And just basically the idea was to get more people in the room in order to talk about like how harassment actually goes down in a workplace, and what can we do about it that is consistent and that people can rely on. And I think that if you talk to every person, each person will have their own specific thing that they want to change. But what's important is that we together can pool our resources and figure out how we can use our collective power to change our company for the better.
Now, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 5% of workers in the South belong to a union. Can you speak on the importance of creating the FCPG in this environment of right to work and anti-unionism?
That's an excellent question. One of the driving kind of issues that people want to see when we win our union is a just cause clause in the contract. And basically what that is reversing the fact that Georgia is an at-will employment state. If we put a just cause clause in our contract, we can say, regardless of whatever Georgia's doing, we have a contract with our employer that says, people need to be, given proper notice, a specific severance, an improvement plan, and what have you, that right now isn't in place. The animation industry actually has been unionized since the 1930s, but mostly on the West Coast. In the South and in other places, we don't see it as much. And hopefully by building our union in the South, we can raise kind of the standard of living and the standard of work for animators in Georgia and also across the US.
President Biden announced his support for the Amazon Union Drive in a video posted to Twitter on Sunday. He asserted that the federal government plays a critical role in supporting unions and denounced the union-busting tactics Amazon has imposed on the workers in Bessemer, Alabama, which I reported on in last week's On the Picket Line. The Amazon Union also scored a critical show of solidarity from members of the Writers Guild of America, which penned a letter of support signed by over 1,700 film and television workers. It's clear that Amazon's management is failing terribly in putting an end to this historic union campaign.